Good afternoon. Welcome to our next to last session. This is week 15. We'd like to introduce you to week 15. We are going to be reading the last chapter in the book, chapter 16, about socio-emotional development in adolescence. This is really where we have come to the end, and where everything up to this point really has led to this major theme that we're talking about this week, which is identity. The deal here is to understand what is it that makes adolescents who they are, what really makes any of us who we are. So this is where we see the culmination of trust and autonomy and initiative and industry, where we've seen the development of a person from what could largely be like what some people consider the ball of clay that's moldable. That's really not how children are, but that's what we assume that they are. That they are ready to be molded or changed or shaped. So this week we're looking at adolescent identity, which is the culmination. This is where we answer that question for ourselves. Who am I? This is where all the life experiences, the interactions with adults, with parents, with teachers, with our peers, comes together, and we look at all of that and we say, this is the choice, who I see myself. I think consequently we'll also see that earlier in adolescence, where we've interacted with children, and we've interacted with each other on issues of what we might call peer pressure. Maybe we've tried on different identities. We've said, well, I've never done this. I wonder what it would be like to do it, and then come back and said, I'm uncomfortable. That's not really who I want to be. And that's why that kind of action and behavior is so consistently important to the development of our identity. This chapter very much piggybacks onto what we looked at last week with cognitive development in adolescence. And this is the question a lot of people ask about adolescence. Well, what were you thinking? Why did you do what you did? And we've seen both in the reading and in the little video that I had you all watch for the discussion that there's a lot that goes into adolescent thinking. And I just wanted to, like always, give a shout out to some of you, to all of you, for having a wonderful, wonderful discussion, both in the analysis of the video and also some reflection on your own personal experiences as adolescents. Thank you, especially for Courtney, for sharing your personal experiences. There was a lot of heart in that. Tanner, the focus that Tanner pointed out about the changes between adolescent thinking and adult thinking. There's not a lot of physical difference between adolescents and adults, but what seems to be the big deal is that it's in that transition from adolescent to adult that we solidify a lot of decision making, and that's important. Rocky mentioned what I call adolescent motivations. Why do adolescents do what they do? That's not an easy answer. That's not an easy thing to consider. There might be some things about the video in particular, the question, that you could see that may not really be as credible. I've tried to focus on that as we've had the literature reviews, and in literature reviews you've been required to think about what this literature says, and then whether you find that to be credible, whether that matches with your own life experiences. Christiana, very good job with that critical thinking and saying, this is why I didn't find this video very credible. Some of you did find it credible, some of you didn't. that's really the purpose here, is to think about that. We're surrounded with so much information in our society, so it's good to be able to look at the all that information and to be able to say, this is why I believe this, or that's what I find lacking in the presentation of that information. So here we go, chapter 16, last chapter, week 15, next week. I think your question will have more to do with some of the kind of the summary of bringing it all together. Continue to look especially at choices that adolescents are making, relationships with their parents and teachers. Look at the relationship with the media, where we get our ideas from other people, what is credible information, and also some kind of serious stuff that'll give us pause about juvenile delinquency and suicide ideation and different matters like that. So all of this matters, and all this is really important. Thank you. You've been a wonderful class. I've really enjoyed getting to know you, and I hope for you the best in life. And so have a great week, and thank you very much.